Welcome to the Knowledge Sector Indonesia podcast series. You can watch and listen our podcast at www.ksi-indonesia.org. Today we are with Kim Holthaus, a freelance consultant and a PhD candidate at the Crawford School of Public Policy at the Australian National University. Kim has published a working paper for the Knowledge Sector Initiative on the role that a specific government think tank has in the policy process in Australia, the Productivity Commission.
The Productivity Commission is a government institution that provides evidence-based policy advice to Australia's federal government. And this paper came about from a visit to the Productivity Commission by officials from Indonesia's development planning agency, Bappenas. And that visit sparked some interest in exploring whether Bappenas might be able to perform a similar role for Indonesia. And the Knowledge Sector Initiative produced this paper to help encourage discussion about the benefits but also the challenges that this would imply. Basically, when the government is considering undertaking some policy reforms in a complex policy area, it might want to get some more information about the costs and benefits of different policy options, and so it can refer the issue to the Productivity Commission to investigate, and the government will provide terms of reference that defines the scope of the study or inquiry, and also a deadline for reporting back with recommendations. Three things together make the Productivity Commission quite a unique institution. The first is that it's politically independent from the executive branch of government, although it's a government institution. The second is that the Productivity Commission has a very high level of transparency around all of its inquiry processes. And the third is that it is required to take a whole of society approach in considering all of the issues and formulating its recommendations. So it cannot make recommendations that will benefit particular interest groups at the cost of broader society. Well, the first thing is that the Productivity Commission's existence is guaranteed by an Act of Parliament, and this makes it very difficult for a government to attempt to influence its advice in any way by threatening to abolish it. The second thing is that the commissioners are appointed for fixed terms, so they don't need to worry about pleasing the government in order to keep their jobs. And the third thing is also that the government doesn't need to use the Commission. It doesn't have to refer any particular issues to the Commission or accept any of the recommendations that it receives back. Well, the first thing is that all of the documentation that is related to the Commission's inquiries and studies is made available to the public through the Commission's website. So that includes the terms of reference and the submissions that are made by individuals and organisations, and of course the reports of the studies themselves. And any individual or organisation can make a submission to a Productivity Commission inquiry, so that ensures that a really wide range of views are heard. And finally, the government is required to table the Productivity Commission's reports in Parliament after it receives them back. Well, the short answer is a great deal. And sometimes that happens directly when the government adopts one or more of the Productivity Commission's recommendations, which can happen either immediately or sometimes several years later. It also influences public policy indirectly, in that many of the policy committees that generate policy also refer to the Productivity Commission's reports, and lots of other government agencies also refer to their reports when they're formulating advice for ministers. Well, I think all governments need access to reliable, objective data to balance competing priorities when they're tackling complex policy issues. And as we know, in all democratic contexts, almost as important as getting the policy right is being able to explain the policy to the public. So evidence is extremely important in the policy making process. So I think if the Indonesian government is looking to increase its use of evidence in policy making processes, having a permanent independent institution is certainly one very good way of ensuring that the resources needed are always on hand. And a final point would be that I think having an institution like the Productivity Commission that enables the public to participate in the policy making process by making submissions to inquiries and studies really helps to strengthen the democratic process.